Anyway, we're gonna watch this video, hopefully.
Down again.
It's true. I started talking about the view count, and and it went down. It's true. It's true.
And in addition to some of the gloom and doom that they're feeling inside the PC, votes are being tabulated, and Joe, the presidency has started
What
to
the?
come into shape.
What?
Started to come into the picture. And the president, I suspect, is very frustrated about this.
Why is all of this here? HuffPost, you could have edited all of this down. Why did you need this?
Reminder, if you do not have a seat
I'd like to
There's our big boy, our rumpus in
Thank you very
chief.
much. Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to provide the American people with an update on our efforts to protect the integrity of our very important 2020 election. If you count the legal votes, I easily win. If you count the illegal votes, they can try to steal the election from us.
Guys, I need to emphasize here that illegal voting is a huge crime in our society. It's a big deal. If you're caught for illegal voting, you can go to jail for a long time. So if there were literally millions of people illegally voting in this country, this would be, yeah, it's a felony. It's a felony. You disenfranchise millions of Democrats. If he could actually prove this, this would be the biggest case in the history of our country, like hands down. It would be the biggest win for Republicans ever. But notice how he's not trying to prove that. He's just saying, yeah, there are illegal votes. Yeah, they're illegal votes.
If you count the votes that came in late, we're looking at them very strongly, but a lot of votes came in late. I've already decisively won many critical states, including massive victories in Florida, Iowa, Indiana, Ohio. To name just a few, we won these and many other victories despite historic election interference from big media, big money, and big tech. As everybody saw, we won by historic numbers. And the pollsters got it knowingly wrong. They got it knowingly wrong.
Wait, they got it knowingly wrong? Is this implying that the pollsters deliberately printed bad polls to make the president look bad? What? We're like 5 seconds into this and it's already cuckoo bananas.
Polls that were so ridiculous, and everybody knew it at the time. There was no blue wave.
If he's if the polls were wrong, why are you complaining about them now? It's irrelevant.
That they predicted. They thought there was going to be a big blue wave. That was false. It was done for suppression reasons. But instead, there was a big red wave. And it's been properly acknowledged, actually, by the media. They were, I think...
Now, guys, this is true. Trump overperformed the polls by a significant margin. We saw, like, him being up 7, up 2, up 3, up 4, up 5. And, surprisingly, he performed better with minorities and women than he did in 2016. The one group that he did not do better with in 2016 than in 2016, white men. White men did not turn out for Trump the way they did in 2016. It's actually pretty funny, like, objectively. Foydoy, I will not go down on Don Jr.'s Twitter, but I will check it out after this video is done.
Very impressed, but that was after the fact. That doesn't do us any good. We kept the Senate despite having twice as many seats to defend as Democrats. and in a really much more
They didn't keep the Senate, by the way.
competitive states. We did a fantastic job with the Senate. I think we're very proud of what's happened there. We had many more seats to defend. They spent almost $200 million on Senate races in South Carolina and Kentucky alone, 2 races. And
This is true. Again, the Dems are on the precipice of winning the Senate. Here, we can look at it real quick. Right? So, it is right here. So here's where we're at with the Senate. There are 4 races remaining. Alaska almost certainly going to Dan Sullivan. So Republicans are almost assuredly picking up 49 seats. However, there are still 3 races left to go. So in Georgia, we have David Perdue versus Jon Ossoff. Now, Jon Ossoff doesn't have a chance of outright winning this election. However, because David Perdue slipped below 50%, this race between Jon Ossoff and David Perdue goes into a runoff election. So that's a huge deal, because Jon Ossoff before the election was polling like 20 points below David Perdue, and now they're basically neck and neck in this race. On top of that, we have the other Georgia race between Raphael Warnock and Kelly Loeffler, which Raphael Warnock won by 32%. This goes to a runoff in January. Now, the third candidate in Georgia, the main race, is Shane Hazel with 2%. Now, in North Carolina, things are a bit weirder, right? So there are 94% of the votes are counted here. But with 6% remaining in predominantly blue areas, we have a race between Cal Cunningham and Thom Tillis, separated by 100,000 votes. This is, by the way, something that is surmountable. So Cal Cunningham here could come from behind to win this election. We don't know yet, but it is a distinct possibility. So here's the scoop. I do not know if we're going to win North Carolina. However, I have a pretty good feeling about the 2 Georgia seats. I have a pretty good feeling about that. If Democrats take both seats, then they have a 50-50, and I believe they will be able to break the tie. I believe that's how that will work. Or there is a distinct possibility they might win all 3, because Cal Cunningham is extremely popular. And we're getting some breaking news, so let's take a look at this. It looks like police disrupt alleged terror attack at Philly Convention Center. Philadelphia police are investigating an alleged plot to attack Pennsylvania Convention Center, Philadelphia, on Tuesday night. Oh, interesting. So this is not, I just want to clarify with you, chat. This is not the story of, there were like pictures taken of somebody bringing boxes into the convention center. It was later revealed to be like camera equipment for like a local news station. It wasn't that. This is different, right? Well, I'll watch the video. We can find out. Also, LL Finite, I haven't seen you in chat before. Welcome. I hope you have a nice time in our community.
Actually, here at the convention center, you see this huge police presence that just arrived. Stay with me here, Jim. I want to bring up some video from Chopper 6 here. According to police at the scene, they tell us they got a tip about a Hummer with people driving up from Virginia armed. Their plan was to attack the convention center while they continue to count the votes. Now, we have some video from the ground I want to bring up right now. They took into custody a man. You see him dressed in that tan outfit. At the scene here, they put a gun in a bag. They say he or another man that he was with was armed, and they took him away in a car. They believe they have found that Hummer, and found the people that they got this tip about, that we're driving up from Virginia to potentially attack the convention center while they count these votes. Now, it's been a busy day here, protests throughout the day as well. Let's take a listen.
This is unsurprising to me, but B, this is fucking bananas. And also, that guy looks like a pilgrim, like a old-timey pilgrim, like kind of like 1776 times. I wonder if that's an accident or on purpose. That's wild. Here, more below. It was reported to be a group attack by possibly a family traveling in a Hummer from Virginia. You know, the family that stays together, am I right? Yeah, sometimes you gotta be ride or die, and I guess these people were really taking that to the extreme. Jeez Louise. I just have to say, is it just some family trying to attend a protest? I don't know, my dude. I don't no, most protesters in the United States don't show up armed. Like that deliberately so that it doesn't become like it doesn't blow up and escalate a protest. Well, yeah, Proud Boys do, but Proud Boys are also terrorists. And I would argue a lot of right-wing protesters are also terrorists, you know? Like, the people outside of I think the convention center in Maricopa County in Arizona, like they came armed. They were trying to break into the election counting area. Yeah, like I think there's a difference between a protest where you're exercising your freedom of speech, and I'm not going to say that can't be meshed with your Second Amendment too. You have a right to bear arms. But I am going to say that when you show up at a government office to protest like normal election like activities, you're kind of crossing the line from being a protester into a terrorist, I would think. Well, Antifa also typically doesn't come to protests armed. Also, Chaotic 94, I agree with you 100%, comrade. We are going to win. Also, William of Orange, I'm pretty sure Revolt Rise is very much pro-gun. What's the link to that tweet? Revolt Rise posted it earlier, but I got it right here, so I can send that to you. Here you go. Man, Foidoy, just cope harder in there. It's okay. It's okay. Foidoy, you're gonna be okay. We'll fight for your rights too, comrade. It's okay. Do I think PA and Georgia will flip? I do think Pennsylvania is gonna flip. And at that point, it doesn't matter if Georgia flips, but I think there's a decent chance that Joe Biden could win all 4 states left in play. Foidoy, I think a lot of that evidence is fueled by people high on copium, okay? This is pretty wild. Honestly, I'm expecting more things like this after Biden wins. Oh yeah, there's 6% of the votes unsatiable left in North Carolina, in predominantly blue areas, and it's very, very possible that Biden makes up the deficit in North Carolina on those alone. Also, most of the blue areas in Pennsylvania that have yet to tally, I think there's a really good chance. Yeah, this is wild. This is bananas stuff. I'm really glad like we're catching these people before they start doing something. This is good that they got caught. All right, let's take a look at Don Jr.'s Twitter, I guess. Oh gosh, I just went to my main page while it was still on stream. That could have been real bad. Anyway, we're gonna go over to Don. 960 tweets in the last hour? Foidoy, this is cope I haven't seen in I have never seen cope like this. This is like cocaine fueled tweeting, my dude. What? That's so many tweets per second. What? He's tweeting like every couple seconds for this. This is insane. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Wait, this is the parody account for Don Jr. Here we go. Oh wait, maybe I was looking at the topic of Donald Trump Jr. Okay, okay. I take it back. I take it back. We're gonna take back everything I said. I want to be as impartial as possible here. Okay, this is from October 31st, not relevant. From Dan Bongino, breaking, it's going down. Facebook went after Mark Levin's page yesterday, and tonight they're going after my page. If my page is taken down tonight, or in the coming days, find me on Parler at the Bongino. Like, oh man, there's nothing sadder than a conservative having to retreat to Parler. There's nothing. Foidoy, objective. Like, I know that that's your narrative, that like Facebook and Twitter are anti-conservative. However, I do encourage you to look up some like empirical data on that, because all of the data we have on biases on social media indicate that overwhelmingly Facebook and Twitter Facebook and Twitter favor conservatives. Conservatives can get away with a lot more on social media. I've had friends banned off of Twitter for saying like white people, am I right? Yeah. Oh yeah, Parler is basically alt-right Twitter. Yeah, basically. You know, it's one of those free speech platforms that also like, you know, you can post anything here. You can be a neo-Nazi. Don't worry about it. We've got your back. But also, you better not be posting pornography. Don't post pornography. We're a free speech platform, but no porn here, okay? This is a no porn zone. Yeah, exactly. Well, no, chaotic. Social media companies do cater to bias. It's just that social media companies have reacted to like being called in front of Congress by Republicans crying about like, you know, like what's the name of the two black people who got banned? Like they had a show. It was like two black women who had the show. You guys know who I'm talking about, right? Oh gosh, what were their names? They had a Fox television show, and then they got booted off because they were saying like insane things that even Fox News couldn't have. Oh gosh, what were their names, people? Come on, think tank for me. There are 40 of you, 40 brains that are optimized for this. Oh gosh, okay, I gotta look it up then. Two black conservative women. Diamond and Silk. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Diamond and Silk. There you go. Diamond and Silk got called up before Congress to testify that they were they were kicked off of social media. Yeah, the Diamond and Silk show. There we go. I wonder what they're up to. I'm interested. Let's see what Diamond and Silk are up to these days, okay? I know I'm getting very distracted, but let's head over to the Diamond and Silk Twitter. They have a book called Uprising. Fight back against the steal. If it wasn't for Donald Trump, there would be no Republican Party. Man, we can only hope, right? President Trump exposed the swamp. Now it's time for him to pull the damn plug. Let's help him remove all of the rats that have been clogging the pipes. You know, I just have to say, this sort of rhetoric from a major, like fairly well-known political pundits who have 1.4 million followers, it's worrying to me. It's worrying to me that these people just openly are like, yeah, let's get rid of the rats. You know, it's very reminiscent of like, you know, the language that fascists use to dehumanize their political opponents. Oh, wait, did they go live? Wait, on the RSBN network? Oh, the Right Side Broadcasting Network? Okay. I'm curious.
Saying we can't wait for Biden to win. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. China is so excited right now. They are beyond excited. China's so excited that all their manufacturing jobs they got might be coming back if Biden were to get in. And that's why we need to protect it, guys. We need to keep our jobs here in the Americas. Mexico, America, United States, and Canada. Keep it within here because we have a beautiful continent. We have a beautiful country. But when you know that other people around the world, besides China and Russia and Ukraine, are all voting for Trump, there's something to be said. So guys, being out here and making sure they hold true to their work is what's important here. So I want to let them hear it again. Count the votes. Count the votes. Count the votes. Count the votes. Count the votes.
Guys, that's what they're trying to do inside the building. Why are you here? Do you think that they're not going to count the votes? I'm genuinely confused.
Time, so probably 7 o'clock Eastern. I think that the encroachment on the First Amendment is just absolutely insane.
I want to. I want to see the entire interview with that person.
It's really grown. And again, we're outside of the Maricopa County Tabulation Center here in Phoenix, Arizona. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight on Right Side Broadcasting. I mean, this is historic right now, guys. Yes, we are. What's your name?
Say hi, Nicole.
Hi.
I'm a big fan. Love you guys.
What's your name?
Nicole.
What brings you out here, Nicole?
To support our president.
Wait, she's wearing a shirt that says "Kneel for the Cross," that has the American flag draped over it? These people are insane. Wait, is this a Kekistan flag? Wait, I didn't pay attention. Is this really the Kekistan flag? Foidoy, I'll get to that eventually, okay? You can stop spamming chat with it.
What do you think about everything going on?
I think that we're in a battle between the spirit of darkness and they're trying to take our voices, and we need to stand up for what's right. That's what I think.
Why do you think they're so confident doing this election?
Wait. He's not gonna interrogate that statement at all. Yeah, I think it's an upside down re-elect Trump flag, but they're battling against the spirit of dark. It's the final boss of the Karens. Oh no. This is wild.
Election still.
Because they have power. They have all the power. And Donald Trump stands alone. Mostly he stands alone.
Yeah, have you you've heard of Right Side Broadcasting
I love
before?
Right Side Broadcasting.
Okay, good.
I
Yeah.
want you guys, every Trump rally, you guys are the ones I stream because you show the crowd every time. Yeah, I love you guys.
Yeah, and tonight's no different. Whether it's Walter Reed Hospital, whether it's a President Trump rally, or this is a Trump rally, and you have all these people out here. One of the main reasons we're out here is because we feel like the president is alone. He has no allies in the media whatsoever. They're holding press conferences every day, and nobody is showing up that supports him. And
We saw you guys in Pennsylvania today.
yeah, we're in.
Well, yeah, chaotic. She sounds like Trump. And this, by the way, this is what I mean when I say William of Orange. I know you took issue with the 14th point of fascism, of like newspeak, but this is what I mean. The way that his supporters talk, like, gets simplified and dumbed down. This is what I'm talking about. His way of speaking and his rhetoric gets spread throughout the country, and it becomes incredibly hard to actually have a real conversation about these topics.
Pennsylvania, we have another crew headed to Michigan, and we're here in Arizona.
You guys really are great. And yesterday I had been interviewed by CBN News, and they totally edited the whole clip of what I told them and put in a little piece and then twisted the whole narrative.
Yeah, I think that the encroachment on the First Amendment is just absolutely insane. Have you seen that the president's tweets are getting shadow banned, canceled? They've cranked it up big time. Do you think big tech should have this much power?
It's absolutely disgusting
Yeah.
that they literally have more power than our Congress people, than the elected officials.
And even more than them, we should have more power than them.
Yeah.
But what they've done is they've effectively taken the power away from the American people. They have subverted this election to where it's being decided by whoever counts the votes, big tech in the news, mainstream media.
Wait. What? Does this imply that, like, in past elections it was like just the like every state had a cabal of people deciding who won the state? I mean, true, Slade, at least she is wearing a mask. That is good.
No, I agree with you guys. That's why I always stream Right Side Broadcasting. And then when Fox News called Arizona so early, it was a seal on the where they're in cahoots. They're all in cahoots with each other, and that signified it for me.
By the way, this is why, by the way, people become like neo-Nazis and start buying into the JQ. Because they start going like, oh, they become so unhinged from reality that they start going, oh, they're all in cahoots. And from there, it's just like a small step to being like, yeah, they're all in cahoots, and there's a secret cabal of Jews that run the world. Like that's what these people, it's only like a small hop and a skip for this person to become a neo-Nazi. It's a much smaller hop and a skip. This is very indicative of how our country is radicalizing towards fascism. I find this very fascinating, by the way.
Like Fox, I can't probably say it on your network, but bleep Fox.
Yeah. I think they get what you're saying right there. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. God bless you. Yeah.
Yeah, like people are like, yeah, I believe fascist, like in fascist rhetoric and like fascism and like, you know, there's like a cabal of Jews running the world, but I can't say the word fuck. No, come on, guys.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, guys, what's happening right now is President Trump is being censored. His message is being censored in real time.
Does he have a mohawk? What even is this reality that we're in? What even is this?
He's speaking even. All of the networks cut away from his press conference today. That happened around, like, I want to say 5 o'clock.
What? Okay, we're coming back to this because it's fascinating. But, let's see. Is this people filling out multiple ballots? No, this isn't people filling out multiple ballots. I've seen this video. It's people... God damn it. Y'all are so dumb. There's a reason why this tweet is unavailable. Why is Twitter repeatedly censoring this video? It's because it's not people filling out multiple ballots. It's either, by the way, it's either a hoax, or we'll go on a limb here, people filling out ballots for other people. That's something they're legally able to do. Like people can say, "Hey, I would like to vote XYZ," and then people fill out the ballots. This is common in immigrant communities, for example, who can't speak English. This is a common thing. What does Joe Rogan say about all this? We can see it, I guess. Joe Rogan saying jack shit. That's what Joe Rogan is saying. What? I don't... Wait, what? What's the joke? I don't... Okay. Okay, yeah, Joe Rogan has nothing to say about any of this. Look up voter fraud and go look at the videos. My dude, there's no evidence of significant amounts of voter fraud in the United States. Literally none. Unless you're alleging there is a widespread conspiracy, in which case I'm much more inclined to wait for actual data to come out about that than I am to go look up, like, totally true videos. My dude, I already went to This Is Don Jr.'s Twitter account. I'm already doing what you want me to do. I don't know who Richard Grinnell is. Who? I don't know who these people are. Okay. Yeah, I don't know who these people are or why I should care. Oh, election integrity in Nevada. We have just found it and just referred to the DOJ. 3,062 people who violated residency requirements in Nevada. Well, this will be sorted out. It's fine. Do you want to take a look at, like, the election map? Because we can take a look at the election map in, like, Nevada. Yeah. Like 3,000 votes, if all of those went to Trump, which is unlikely, or if all of them went to Biden, which is also unlikely, Biden would still be ahead. I am looking it up. I have looked it up. You're just mauling in chat. Like, it's okay. It's okay to cope. Just don't bug me about this all the time, okay? Let's finish watching this press conference that was supposedly cut early by mainstream media on mainstream media outlet HuffPost.
Hundreds of millions of dollars overall against us. At the national level, our opponents' major donors were Wall Street bankers and special interests. Our major donors were police officers, farmers, everyday citizens. Yet for the first time ever, we lost 0 races in the House. I was talking to Kevin McCarthy today. He said he couldn't believe it. 0 races. Very unusual thing, 0. And actually won many new seats with,
Good night,
I think,
you.
many more on the way. This was also the year of the Republican woman. More Republican women were elected to Congress than ever before. That's a great achievement. I won the largest share of non-white voters of any Republican in 60 years, including historic numbers of Latino, African American, Asian American, and Native American voters, the largest ever in our history. We grew our party by 4 million voters, the greatest turnout in Republican Party history.
Man, he sounds absolutely not invested in any of these accomplishments. He sounds tired and defeated.
Democrats are the party of the big donors, the big media, the big tech, it seems.
Well, he's speaking so slowly and calmly because he's struggling to read. I understand. I understand.
And Republicans have become the party of the American worker, and that's what's happened. And we're also, I believe, the party of inclusion. As everyone now recognizes, media polling was election interference in the truest sense of that word.
Okay, so he's trying to claim polling is election interference. Again, if this was something that he was able to prove, he could utterly demolish an entire field of play Trump at half speed. But like he could demolish an entire field of politics by getting rid of pollsters. Why doesn't he do it? Like, this is the president of the United States. He should be making factual claims that he can back up. Instead, he just says shit. And it's really irritating.
By powerful special interests, these really phony polls, I have to call them phony polls, fake polls, were designed to keep our voters at home, create the illusion of momentum for Mr. Biden, and diminish Republicans' ability to raise funds. They were what's called suppression polls. Everyone knows that now.
Right, so the secondhand data from the outside source not involved in the election, an update by an engineer 1,000 miles away, increased at a refresh rate of how long exactly? 6 hours worth of results being entered at once. Happens hundreds of times a day for the past few days. Yeah.
And it's never been used to the extent that it's been used on this last election. To highlight just a few examples, the day before election, Quinnipiac, which was wrong on every occasion that I know of, had Joe Biden up by 5 points in Florida.
Okay, is this just him complaining about polls being wrong after the election? All right, I'm skipping this.
Went to court in a couple of instances, and we were able to get the observers put in. And when the observers got there, they wanted them 60, 70 feet away, 80 feet, 100 feet away, or outside the building to observe.
Interesting how that went from...
Went to court in a couple of instances, and we were able to get the observers put in. And when the observers got there, they wanted them 60, 70 feet.
60, 70 feet away. Pretty sure they probably just asked the observers to stand 6 feet away. 6 feet. Because of COVID protections. Yeah, of course. Like, what? Stand outside the building.
Feet away, 80 feet, 100 feet away, or outside the building to observe people inside the building. And we won a case, a big case, and we have others happening. There are lots of litigation, even beyond our litigation. There's tremendous amount of litigation generally because of how unfair this process was. And I predicted that. I've been talking about mail-in voting for a long time. It's really destroyed our system. It's a corrupt system. And it makes people corrupt even if they aren't by nature.
What? What? Mail-in voting makes you corrupt. Mail-in voting makes you corrupt, folks. It makes you corrupt. You know, despite the fact that the FBI has never found any significant risks of voter fraud, it's fine, you know? If you send in a mail-in ballot, it increases your corruptibility by about 5% every time you vote by mail. You know, 5% more corrupt. It's like a Fable game, you know? You guys remember Fable? You know, you pet a puppy, you get like 5 good points. You kick it, you get like -1,000. It's like a Fable game. You know, you vote in person, you get 5 good points. You vote by mail, you get -1,000 corruption points. Okay? Yeah, Donald Trump actually became corrupt by voting by mail. It's true. It's true. This is he's correctly identified the root of evil in our society.
But they become corrupt. It's too easy. They want to find out how many votes they need, and then they seem to be able to find them. They wait, and then they find them. And you see that on election night. We were ahead in vote in North Carolina by a lot, tremendous number of votes. And we're still ahead by a lot, but not as many, because they're finding ballots all of a sudden. Oh, we have some mail-in ballots. It's amazing how those mail-in ballots are so one-sided, too. I know that it's supposed to be to the advantage of the Democrats, but in all cases, they're so one-sided.
This is a product of our president talking about how COVID isn't an issue and Democrats not believing him. Look, we can look at some of the research on this. Like, I still have it up somewhere. Here. Look. Here's a study. Republicans remain far less likely than Democrats to view COVID-19 as a major threat to public health. In fact, Democrats are twice as likely as Republicans to think that it's an issue. So yeah, more Democrats voted by mail this year because they didn't want to get COVID, and more Republicans voted in person because they believe Trump and they don't think it's a big deal. Yeah, like it's not rocket science here, people. Or in the case of Revolt Rise, it might be rocket science because he's an actual rocket scientist. So, like, I don't know. Yeah, Foidoy, you need to expand your vocabulary beyond voter fraud, okay? I know the copium has addled your brains. Yeah. Anyway, let's carry on here with the supposedly censored news conference.
We were up by nearly 700,000 votes in Pennsylvania. I won Pennsylvania by a lot, and that gets whittled down to...
I won Pennsylvania by a lot, despite the fact that he hasn't won Pennsylvania yet. Turns out, it's not how it works. Not how it works at all. Yeah, like, we have mechanisms through which fraud is investigated and prosecuted.
I think they said now we're up by 90,000 votes, and they'll keep coming and coming and coming. They find them all over, and they don't want us to have any observers, although we want a court case. The judge said you have to have observers. Likewise in Georgia, and they're appealing. Actually, they're appealing. We want a case that we want people to watch, and we want observers, and they're actually appealing, which is...
I need to clarify, by the way, that it's not just that they want observers. They want the Trump campaign to have observers. So they want specifically a partisan organization to be able to observe voting. That's part of the contention, right? That's partly the issue. It's not that we have people observing who are nonpartisan or part of a non-profit partisan organization. That would be fine. The issue is they want the campaign itself to be observing the voting process, which could, in some way, tilt the results. That's why the Democrats are appealing this.
It's sort of interesting. I wonder why they'd appeal. That all we want to do is have people watch as they do the vote tabulations. Likewise in Georgia, I won by a lot, with a lead of...
Again, Georgia has not been called. And also, it's not unprecedented for states not to be called until several days after the election, especially if it's a close election.
Over getting close to 300,000 votes on election night in Georgia, and by the way, got whittled down.
Right, the voting process. Hello, Mr. J Logic. Welcome to the chat. I appreciate you being here, okay?
And now it's getting to be to a point where I'll go from winning by a lot to perhaps being even down a little bit. In Georgia, a pipe burst in a faraway location, totally unrelated to the location of what was happening, and they stopped counting for 4 hours, and a lot of things happened.
This is the most boring Cope stream I've ever seen in my life. Holy hell. Guys, like, we've been watching now for like a while, and all he's whined about is like, the polls lied. I won the states, but they didn't call it for me because, the election's not over yet. And pipes burst, and that's not good. Like, does he have anything to say that's interesting?
Down. Today we're on track to win Arizona. We only need to carry, I guess, 55% of the remaining vote, 55% margins, and that's a margin that we've significantly exceeded. So we'll see what happens.
No, he doesn't have a point, Foydoy, because, like, the issue is he's not just saying that the polls were wrong, he's saying that the pollsters committed electoral interference. And he's saying that the, it's electoral interference, like, deliberate attempts to undermine him, like, it's all a giant conspiracy. Like, on top of being boring, this is just, like, wild, insane bullshit. I'd rather a boring Cope stream in the face of Twitter, Facebook, and so on, going full fascistic memory hole. True. Wait, is Georgia red or blue? Wait, am I'm just gonna let you keep talking. All right.
With that, but we're on track to do okay in Arizona. Our goal is to defend the integrity of the election. We'll not allow the corruption to steal such an important election, or any election for that matter. And we can't allow anybody to silence our voters and manufacture results. I've been doing a lot of public things for a long time. I've never had anything that's been as inspirational, by people calling, talking, sending things to us. I've never seen such love and such affection and such spirit as I've seen for this. People know what's happening, and they see what's happening, and it's before their eyes. And there are many instances which will be reported very shortly. There's tremendous litigation going on, and this is a case where they're trying to steal an election. They're trying to rig an election, and we can't let that happen. Detroit and Philadelphia, known as two of the most corrupt political places anywhere in our country, easily cannot be responsible for engineering the outcome of a presidential race, a very important presidential race. In Pennsylvania, Democrats have gone to the state Supreme Court to try and ban our election observers.
Oh my gosh, he already talked about this.
Watching this process, because if it's straight, they should be proud of it. Instead, they're
straight pride. That's right. You just heard our president. Straight pride, everybody. You should be proud to be straight, okay? Be proud of who you are. Don't be embarrassed if you're straight, okay? Don't be embarrassed. You're a wonderful and valid human being, and you're just as valid as any queer person, okay? Just because you like the person of the same, like, a different gender than you, doesn't mean you're wrong, okay? You're valid.
Trying, obviously, to commit fraud. There's no question about that. In Philadelphia, observers have been kept far away, very far away, so far that people are using binoculars to try and see, and there's been tremendous problems caused. They put paper on all of the windows so you can't see in, and the people that are banned are very unhappy and become somewhat violent.
Wait, is he talking about Wait, is he trying to say that the people outside of the Maricopa, like, elections office and the place in Pennsylvania, I forget right off the top of my head, is he trying to say that those people are the poll watchers? Like, the legally allowed poll watchers? Because there's, like, hundreds of people out there. They can't all be the poll watchers, right? That'd be insane.
The 11th Circuit ruled that in Georgia, the votes have been in by Election Day, that they should be in by Election Day, and they weren't. Votes are coming in after Election Day. And they had a ruling already that you have to have...
No, they're being counted after Election Day. What is with this, like, painfully childish lying?
The votes in by Election Day, to the best of my knowledge, votes should be in by Election Day. And they didn't do that. Democrat officials never believed they could win this election, honestly. I really believe that. That's why they did the mail-in ballots, where there's tremendous corruption and fraud going on. That's why they mailed out tens of millions of unsolicited ballots.
Wait. Does he think that the new ballots that are being like added to the tallies are new ballots that are just coming in? Is that what he thinks, or does I genuinely don't know if he understands the process. Like that's part of the problem. Like most people I would assume that they know, but I genuinely don't know when it comes to this man. Like he's so unintelligent. I honestly don't know.
Without any verification measures whatsoever. And I've told everybody that these things would happen because I've seen it happen. I watched a lot of different elections before they decided to go with this big, massive election with tens of millions of ballots going out to everybody, in many cases totally unsolicited. This was unprecedented in American history. This was by design, despite years of claiming to care about the election security. They refused to include any requirement to verify signatures, identities, or even determine whether they're eligible or ineligible to vote. People are walking in there. They have no idea. They're just taking numbers. They're writing down things.
That's because when they're... When the vote is counted, they verify all of the information on the vote. Like, on the ballot. What? My brain hurts. And also I'm bored. This is the worst.
And doing a lot of bad things, and we have a lot of information coming and litigation that you'll see that will shake even you people up, and you've seen it all. The officials overseeing the counting in Pennsylvania and other key states are all part of a corrupt Democrat machine that you've written about, and for a long time.
Damn, they found out about the corrupt Democrat machine. It's right here in this cardboard box that I have behind my shelving unit. I thought I covered it up well enough with my gamer chair. I am shaketh.
You've been writing about the corrupt Democrat machine. I went to school there, and I know a lot about it. It hasn't changed. It's a long time ago, and hasn't changed. It's gotten worse.
I know all about it, and it hasn't changed, but also in the 4 years I've been president, I haven't done anything about it. But whatever, it's fine.
In Pennsylvania, partisan Democrats have allowed ballots in the state to be received 3 days after the election. And we think much more than that. And they are counting those without even...
Wait, and we think much more than that? You're the president. You can know. You can know. You're the president. You have people you can ask about this stuff. I'm not...
Marks or any identification whatsoever. So you don't have postmarks, you don't have identification. There have been a number of disturbing irregularities across the nation. Our campaign has been denied access to observe any counting in Detroit. Detroit is another place.
Donald Trump had a supermajority for 2 years, Eeyore explores. He had a supermajority. He could have made any kind of reform happen. He could have done this years ago. He knew all about it and he didn't do anything. The argument that, like, the Dems didn't let it happen, like, that doesn't hold water when he had a literal supermajority. If the Dems were cheating, why don't they have control of the Senate and more of the House? True.
And
that's just for you, Sir Fontaine.
The best reputation for election integrity. Poll workers in Michigan were duplicating ballots, but when our observers attempted to challenge the activity, those poll workers jumped in front of the volunteers to block their view so that they couldn't see what they were doing. And it became...
No, they blocked the windows because there was an angry mob of people outside with weapons. Yeah, like, obviously they did that.
A little bit dangerous. One major hub for counting ballots in Detroit covered up the windows again with large pieces of cardboard. And so they wanted to protect and block.
Okay, Sir Fontaine, quick rundown of what went down while you were out. Yes, I did just dab. I did. I do it. I do everything I do for you, the chat, you know? Quick rundown. Terrorist plot foiled in Philadelphia. We took a look at Diamond and Silk's Twitter page and fell down the rabbit hole of a far alt-right broadcasting organization that's live on site with the Maricopa County people, and they're interviewing the most insane shit over there. So, after this is done, we're gonna go back there, because that was a lot of fun.
The counting area, they didn't want anybody seeing the counting, even though these were observers who were legal observers that were supposed to be there. In Detroit, there were hours of unexplained delay in delivering many of the votes for counting. The final batch did not arrive until 4 in the morning, and even though the polls closed at 8 o'clock, so they brought it in, and the batches came in, and nobody knew where they came from. We've also been denied access to observe in critical places in Georgia, in multiple swing states counting.
Again, we being the Trump campaign.
Was halted for hours and hours on election night, with results withheld from major Democrat-run locations only to appear.
Yeah, they're withheld because they're counting them. They don't have the results right away. They have to count them.
Later, and they suddenly appeared, and they all had the name Biden on them, or just about all. I think
Because they're
almost
mail-in
all.
votes.
They all had the name Biden on them, which is a little strange. I challenge
They didn't
Joe
all
and
have
every
Biden
Democrat
on them.
to clarify
Just
that they only want legal
overwhelmingly.
votes, because they talk about votes, and I think they should use the word legal votes.
It's because you fear-mongered so much you fucked yourself with mail-in voting. That's why. It's really easy.
We want every legal vote counted, and I want every legal vote counted. We want openness and transparency, no secret count rooms, no mystery ballots, no illegal votes being cast after Election Day. You have Election Day, and the laws are very strong on that. You have an election.
Foidoy, you're acting real silly, and like you're malding in chat, and you've been coping the entire stream. Like I've checked out a lot of the stuff that you've been telling me to, and it's just hasn't been worthwhile. So I imagine my mod isn't posting the links because you're posting links to like crazy conspiracy-ridden bullshit.
Election Day, and they don't want votes cast after Election Day, and they want the process to be an honest one. It's so important. We want an honest election, and we want an honest count, and we want honest people working back there, because it's a very important job. So that's the way this country is going to win. That's the way the United States will win, and we think we will win the election very easily. We think there's going to be a lot of litigation.
We think we will win the election very easily, it says man who just threw a half-hour-long press conference to complain about how unfair everything is to him. Okay.
Because we have so much evidence, so much proof, and it's going to end up perhaps at the highest court in the land. We'll see. But we think there'll be a lot of litigation, because we can't have an election stolen like this. And I tell you, I have been talking about this for many months with all of you, and I've said very strongly that mail-in ballots are going to end up being a disaster. Small elections were a disaster. Small, very easy to handle elections were disastrous. This is a large-scale version, and it's getting worse and worse every day. We're hearing stories that are horror stories, absolute horror stories, and we can't let that happen to the United States of America. It's not a question of who wins, Republican, Democrat, Joe, myself. We can't let that happen to our country. We can't be disgraced by having something like this happen. So it will be...
We can't be disgraced, says man who held a press conference to cry like a little bitch in front of the entire world as President of the United States. Holy shit.
Hopefully cleared up, maybe soon, I hope soon, but it'll probably go through a process, a legal process, and as you know, I've claimed certain states, and he's claiming states, and we can both claim the states, but ultimately I have a feeling judges are going to have to rule. But there's been a lot of shenanigans, and we can't stand for that in our country.
Yeah, we're a
Thank you
no
very much.
shenanigans nation, okay? Alright, that was not a good use of time. Let's do something that's way more fun.